Hi, I want to talk part two. I'm in Hazard, Kentucky, America today, and I wanted to talk part two about my business. So in the first part, I spoke about how I set up my business, and basically I started off in my garage, and I've got that how I sort of set it up and how I got it started. So today I want to talk about the second part, about basically how I got up and got running as far as transitioning to a full-time business. So my first part was I was pretty small. You can watch the first part of the video. I was pretty small in my garage and just got up and started running. I had Darton as my main supplier, and probably I think I had a Nida and a couple of other little brands. The major companies, the major manufacturers were handled in Australia by a couple of big distributors. And you couldn't touch those. So they were untouchable. So basically they controlled the market in Australia, and basically you couldn't touch them. They controlled the price in Australia, and that's the way it was. So then I was like, which company do I look at? My first company was Darton. They had a range of bows at all prices, and that was good. And I did really well with Darton. But I needed to get bigger than Darton because I needed shops to come to me for everything. So my next thing was to identify companies that could enable my company to grow. From there, I picked Golden Eagle Archery. They produced a range of compound bows, and they also had a range of accessories, satellite archery. Now, this has now been transformed to bear archery. I did really well with Golden Eagle and satellite archery before it kind of merged and the whole Bear Jennings thing happened. And just to explain what happened there, Jennings went broke, got purchased by Bear. Bear went broke, got purchased by Golden Eagle, and they formed the brand, and they actually dropped Golden Eagle and they formed the brand Bear. I think the company then got sold to another company, and hence that whole thing transformed over the 20 years into what it is now, into Bear Archery. But I don't want to go into that story, but that's how it kind of started for me. Then I wanted to identify other companies. So the first thing I did was identify the recurve company, and I first off dealt with Samick Archery. And Samick Archery is a Korean company that makes recurve bows, hunting and target bows. And I did really, really well with Samick Archery. I was selling them all around the place. So at that stage, I had Darton, Samick, and that's pretty much it. So I was a pretty small business, and I was turning over about $700,000 a year from my garage. So Samick said to me, come to Korea. I was also dealing with Cartel Archery in Korea. I was doing very well with Cartel. And Samick said, come to Korea and we'll give you an exclusive for the Australian market. So I jumped. I'm only like probably 28, 29 years old, and I'm still strapped for cash. Okay, so I explained in my last video, I went through a separation with my partner at the time, and I was basically left with nothing. She took the house, took the furniture, took everything, which is not like no disrespect to her or anything. That's the way life is. So I went to Samick, and I wasn't very well established back then. Okay, so I went to Samick because they were going to give me exclusive. So I jump on a plane, go to Korea to meet with Samick and Cartel, which was a great experience. And I get to Samick, and they're going to give me exclusive for the Australian market, which I was really wrapped with. I get there and they say a guy by the name of John, it doesn't even matter what his name is, his name's John from New South Wales. John has come to us 2 weeks before, and he said he's going to be really big in the Australian market. John, it doesn't even matter what his name was, because like I said, he never turned into anything. So they said, no, we're not going to give you exclusive because this John guy in New South Wales is going to be big. So I said, okay. Now, the first thing in business is everyone's going to bullshit you. That's the first deal. Now, I don't bullshit. So I figure you tell people the way it is, and if you just say you're going to, I think my view is you try your best. If it succeeds or fails, that's up. But you be honest with people. So Samick said to me, well, this guy, whatever his name was, John in New South Wales, is going to be big. So we're not going to go exclusive now. And I was like, well, this is a wasted trip. But it wasn't. I mean, it was good to meet Cartel and see how they make bows, and it was good to see Samick and see how they make bows and all that sort of stuff. But it was really disappointing for me. It was gut-wrenching, right? This is my first big, not my first big exclusive. Darton was my first big exclusive in the Australian market. Samick was going to be big for me, and that turned out to be a real flop. And there's always in business, there's going to be big flops. Every time there's going to be big flops for it. So Samick was my big flop. Okay. So I saw Cartel was a really nice company. Mr. Lee from Cartel, lovely man, showed me around Korea. They took me to a really good experience. Took me out to the Olympic archery training camps. Loved the whole thing. It's just really disappointing. So when you have failure, you've got to say, what am I going to do now? I'm still trying to think of the guy's name, John from New South Wales. He never developed anything, didn't actually buy from them in the end. And this is, part of the story which I'm going to go into in my business. But I thought, what am I going to do? What's another company can I do? So I'll basically drop something and I'll pick up something else. Now there was this other company called Win and Win. You've probably heard of them now, but back then they weren't very big. So I went to Win and Win and I said, I'd like to buy from you. And there was a lady there called Ginny. Now I'm still with Ginny. She's my sales rep at Win and Win. And I said, I'd like to buy from you. So I brought in a whole bunch of Win and Win into Australia. Like pretty much everything they stocked, I brought into Australia. I was the first person to bring it into Australia, and I grew it and grew it and grew it, and it boomed. So at the time when I started bringing in Win and Win, so Samick was pretty big in Australia. I was doing really well with Samick, with the Olympic sight kind of bows, the Progresses and their Masters and all that sort of stuff. I had a guy in the Australian Olympic team shooting a Samick recurve who purchased from me. That Hoyt was the big brand in Australia. That was the big Olympic bow that was handled by the big distributors here, and I couldn't touch it. That wasn't in my. I couldn't break that market, right? So I needed to break that market. I needed to break Hoyt because I need my dealers to have a brand they can compete with. And Win for me was that opportunity. So I pushed it and pushed it and pushed it, and Win for me, I think I became third biggest in the world with Win archery. Now, this you're going on 15, 20 years. Now, things have changed. Because Win has now gone to all the individual shops who were Hoyt shops, because Win is now much bigger than Hoyt in Australia. There's no comparison with recurves. Now, they've gone to all the shops who are Hoyt shops, and now they supply them direct. So for me, my whole Win thing that I built, where I was like third biggest in the world, has now been. I still sell a lot of Win, but the Hoyt dealers now buy Win as well, and I can't buy Hoyt. So for me, it's like, now you're going to get that in business. So just bear that in mind, and it bugs you to the ground because you have very little margin with wholesale, and you try and supply shops at the right price, and that's just the way it is. So you've got to take that and go. And it bugged the heck out of me. So I'm going to say in my state, I was selling lots of Win compound bows, heaps of them. And Win supplied a little shop down the road from me, compound bows, and I think they probably undercut me a little bit, and they sold two. And it peed me off, okay? So I was like, what are you doing? Why are you supplying him when I'm selling so many bows, and they just coming under me and just basically white-handing me. They're the Hoyt shop, I'm the Win shop. But no, that's not the way it is, okay? So companies will always do what's in their best interest, so bear that in mind. Okay, so Win. I picked up Win. Win did really well. Samick basically died. So Samick in Australia, pretty much dead. I think probably worldwide Samick now, I think they do okay with a couple of their little hunting bows and some of the niche little markets, but it's pretty much a kind of finished brand, I'm going to say. You don't really see them on the Olympic stage anymore. So that was kind of successful for me. So you're always going to be on the lookout for what's big. So now the next brand I wanted was PSE, this brand here. And you'll see, like if you see me on YouTube clips, people say, Stephen pushing PSE. So I go to PSE and I say, look, I hadn't seen a PSE in Australia for 10 years, I think. That's how few PSEs were sold in Australia. So I went to PSE and I said, I'd like to buy PSEs from you. And the guy, the sales rep at the time, said, yeah, that'd be good. So I placed an order for $100,000 worth of PSE stock. So I did up the pricing and basically ordered $100,000 worth of stock. Now, to do that, I don't have $100,000. I have to basically take out a mortgage against my house to buy $100,000 worth of stock. Okay, so it's a real big risk, but I'm trying to grow and I'm trying to employ people in the business. Still in my garage. So I'm trying to grow and trying to make it into a shop. I'm trying to push to the level. So I go to PSC and I said, look, I'd really like to sell you bows, and PSC go, yep, that's good. So I placed the order for $100,000 worth of stock. Pete Shepley knocked it on the head and said, no, not going to happen. We're going to remain loyal to the guy in Melbourne as the exclusive distributor for the PSC in Australia, despite it being a $100,000 upfront order. So that was 2 years before I became the PSC distributor for Australia. So Pete knocked me on the head and said no, and I was like, oh, gutted. That's all right. So I think I picked up Browning. Now, Browning was an interesting company at the time because the people from Browning came from PSC. Archery, Don Valley, and you got his name anyway. He's now with Coit. And so I picked up Browning. I did pretty well with Browning. Now Browning then went under, so I'm stuck again. Okay. So I'm like, what other boat companies can I do to be successful? What are the big boat companies in the world where I can be successful? Now the big boat companies in the world, if you want to go by order, it's up to you, but I think the big boat companies in the world are PSC, Bear, Hoyt. There's this other boat company that came along called Bowtech. It was new, but it was growing rapidly. Okay, and basically wasn't being distributed by anyone in Australia. There's probably another boat company I'm forgetting, but anyway, these are the big Hoyt, PSC, Bear. And Hoyt's not as big as you probably think it is because they don't do the budget boats, and they don't really concentrate on the hunting boats. So for me, like I lost Bear as well for a period because one of the Australian distributors for Bear, and I was an Australian distributor for Bear, said, look, we'll buy a whole bunch of Bear off you if you make us exclusive. So that Bear cut me out for about 2 years. So I lost Bear for about 2 years, which was a bugger. But basically I picked up Browning for about 2 years, then Browning went broke, but I was doing okay with Browning. Browning was a good brand for me for about 2 years. I then went back to PSE, and there's a new guy there who's in charge of sales. I said, look, here's my sales numbers. This is what I'm selling for the various companies that I handled. And I was selling Carbon-Tech arrows. I was doing really well with Carbon-Tech arrows. I had really good arrows at a really good price. So I went back to PSE, and the new guy there was Jay, who I still deal with now. I think we've been together for, it's like a partnership. And I think it was about 15 years ago, time frames. So I've been doing this for 28 years. So I went to him and I said, look, you knocked me on the head 2 years ago. Can I try again for another $100,000 order? And he said, yeah, we'll do that. But I didn't just go to PSC. I went because I thought PSC would knock me back again because Pete knocked me back last time. Right? Never spoke to me. I've never spoken to at that stage. I'd never spoken to Pete Shepley. He just knocked on the head. And I went to the ATA show the following year, and the guy who was the sales rep said we made a big mistake by not signing you. And I was like, well, that's nice. That doesn't help me, right? So I go back to PSA, and I also go to Bowtech. Because I had $100,000. I had $100,000 in my house, and I was like, well, I'm going to invest this $100,000 into archery and see if I can grow my business. So I go to Bowtech, and I go to PSE. So I go to two companies. I'm hoping I'll get one of them. I said, I've got $100,000. Can I buy both off you? Well, unfortunately, both said yes. I've only got $100,000, and both said yes. Okay, so there's my problem. Now, so they both say yes, so I've got a problem because I have $200,000. So that was a huge, huge strain on me. $200,000 I needed to buy Bowtech and PSE. But it worked out okay because one, PSE was really honest. Like my sales rep there was just no BS. It was just straight up, these are the sales numbers, this is what we need to do, this is, and he said basically, how do you see this progressing, what do you expect to do? And I said, I don't know. I said, I haven't seen a PSE go in Australia for 10 years. I don't know what the market is. I don't know what the issues are. I need to look at this. I need to see how it'll go. And I made PSE no promises. I said, look, I'll see how it goes. I'll see how I progress with it. I did the same with Bowtech. I said, I don't know what I'll do. Let's see what I do with it. Now, with my first year's sales with PSE and Bowtech together, I sold 700 Bowtech bows in the first year and 700 PSE bows in my first year. My business just went poof, exploded overnight. I was bringing in pallets of Bowtech bows, and these bows were $1,000 each, 50 bows at a time. I have never seen growth like it. So Bowtech was just huge. I was getting the top end Bowtech, and I would have 50 orders. When I say 50 orders, 50 people pre-ordering Bowtech at a time. It was just unbelievable. But PSE was selling in equal numbers, but it was more general. When I say general, more budget level bows. I was selling some top end bows, but more budget level bows. And PSE had a whole range of accessories and arrows and bits and pieces. So it caused my business to explode. So at that stage, I set up an archery shop, a small little shop in Holder. So I purchased a shop as well in Holder and sort of set it up and started selling PSE and Bowtech from there. I thought I was pretty big at that stage. So I'm there selling PSE and Bowtech and Darton and a NIDA, and I'm thinking I'm doing pretty good. Now my shop was 15 meters long by about 4 meters wide, and I think I'm doing pretty good. And I'm employing 2 people, I think, 2 or 3 people at that stage. Now I'm not making the money that I used to in my garage. So don't ever think that sales equates to profit, because it does not. Sales and profit, 2 different things. So whether you sell $3 million or $500,000, that does not equate to profit, because you've got to take expenses off. And as you get bigger, expenses become more, because you've got more wages, more expenses, more building, that sort of stuff. But anyway, sales then just boomed for me. So Bowtech's booming, PSE's booming, and life's going pretty well. So I don't know how long this is going to go for, but I'm going to try and keep it short. Then I have a problem. I start going broke. So I'm working full-time in the public service on a good income. So I'm on about $100,000 a year. My business is turning over record sales. I've got no money in the bank. None. My business is literally going broke. My Bowtech shipments that are coming in are short. So when I bring in like 50 bows, there's 2 missing. I'm not going to sort of harp on about it, but basically, so I ring Bowtech and I go, "You're 2 bows short. These are 2 bows that are missing from the shipment." I said, "What's going on?" I said, "Do you check your shipments?" Right. They go, yeah, we double check them. So I say to my staff, well, next time the shipment comes in, because I've got a shipment coming in every month, right? They fly in, big pallet, shrink wrap the bows, 50 bows at a time. And I should be rolling in money at this stage. And I'm not, I'm broke. Okay. So I say to my staff, when the shipment comes in, do not unwrap that shipment, leave it shrink wrap, give me a call, I'm going to come there and count the bows myself. Shipment comes in, they unwrap the shipment themselves, and we're 2 bows short again. Oh my God damn, why don't you just leave those bows where they were? Because I don't know at this stage whether I've got a problem with Bowtech jipping me or not. So at this stage, I take time off work. I take long service leave off work, and I go to work out what's wrong with my business. Whether I'm going to close my business down or what I'm going to do. Because I'm selling them heaps. So I go in, the first day I fire the first kid. He puts his hand in the till and he goes and buys himself a Coke. I fire him on the spot. His dad brings me up and he goes, "Why'd you fire my son?" And I say, "You don't ask him why I fired him." And that moment killed me in the heart. He's a young kid, nice kid, going well with him. He shoots in my local club, and it ripped my heart apart, because I was like, kids just don't put their hand in bills. It was a learned behavior from other people working there. So I was like, freaking hell, I've got a problem. But I didn't know how widespread this problem was. I only had 3 people working for me. And you probably don't want to hear this, but this is part of running a business. So this is a video on running a business. So the first week of working in my business, and when I say working in my business, this is not me in the public service working there full time. I'm trying to think of the occasions. Okay, so the first occasion is a guy comes in to buy a bow. He's a carpet layer. He's got cash. He purchased a bow for $1,000 cash. I come in next day and there's only $500 in the gym. I ring the guy, the carpet layer, because I know who he is. I said, "Hi, did you pay $1,000 in cash?" He goes, "Yes, I did." So I go to my staff. I go, "Well, he paid $1,000 cash on the phone and there's only 500 in the till. Where's the rest?" I said, "There's two of you working. You both know who did it. Let me know." And one of you is gone. And one of the guys writes me this big letter to tell me he's made millions of dollars for me, which is fantastic because I don't have millions of dollars. Big long letter, sob story. Tell me how he's made me millions of dollars. You know, people will always tell you they make millions of dollars and they don't. And so he resigned. I've got one guy working for me. So it's me and this other guy working. It's all going okay. I then put a bow. And then I've got a second-hand bow. It's an Alpine Silverado. Remember the bow from 20 odd years ago. This is how much of an impact it makes on me. I take a picture of it on a camera. I go home because I leave work at about 3 to go and pick up my son from school. I take a picture of the bow. I go home, put it on the web. That night, that bow sells. Because I sold second-hand bows pretty cheap, about $200. I go in next morning to ship that bow, and then put it on the shelf. I'm like, "Where's that bow gone?" Because it sold that night. Silverado, $200. And the guy working there goes, "I don't know." I said, "You've got to know. Did we sell it? There's no invoice for the bow. There's nothing in the till for the bow. Where did the bow go?" He goes, "I don't know." I said, "So therefore you're telling me someone walked into my store off the street, grabbed the bow and ran out of the store?" Like, I don't know. I never know what happened to that bow. Honestly, I've got no idea what happened to that bow. I just know the person who purchased it couldn't purchase it. So that's where I was at. So I'm like, "Oh, bugger." I'm thinking I need cameras. I'm lost again, right? Anyway, next weekend comes along. So I've been working my store for 2 weeks. Next weekend comes along. At the end of the day, there's a whole bunch of stock left. When I say stock, packaging left on the benches after the day's Saturday trading. You know, like site boxes and all that stuff that we'd sold. Now the problem was the invoice didn't match up with what was on the bench, and the name on the invoice was actually I'm going to say a friend of mine. So I rang him. I said, "Did you buy this stuff?" And he goes, "No, I didn't buy any stuff." "Then what did you buy?" He told me. I was like, "Oh, interesting." They deleted the invoice for that sale on the bench. But I had a backup system on the invoice because I wrote the software, so I actually backed up files. So if people delete stuff, it backs them up. So I go to the backup system and I can actually see what the person purchased on the last sale of the day. So I go to the guy who was working. There was a guy and a kid working on Saturday. I said, "This is your last sale of the day." He looked at me. He goes, "Yeah." I said, "It's not recorded anywhere. It's not recorded on the invoice book. It's not recorded on the system. But this is what you sold." I said, "You left all the packaging on the bench as well. So it's sold." So did they pay cash or did they pay it thing? He was like, "I don't know." I said, "Well, there's only two of you working. So it's either you or the kid who did the theft." So he left. So at that stage, it's just me working by myself in the shop. So I've got no stuff. Anyway, a guy comes in and goes, "Hi, have you got a job?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So he starts working. I was skiing at the time. So I go to a ski shop to buy ski gear because I ski. And the guy working in the ski shop is an archer and he's a hunter. I'm like, "You want a job in an archery shop?" He goes, "Yeah, sure." So he leaves his ski shop and comes and works for me. So I've suddenly got two guys working for me. They're both enthusiastic, keen to work. And suddenly my business starts making money again. It's like I go from being dead broke to making money again. And guess what? All those Bowtech bows that were missing on the shipments coming in, every Bowtech shipment that came in was spot on the dot. So what was happening was they were taking two bows and then either selling them to their friends or just cashing the money. That's what was going on. So anyway, every shipment that came in was perfect. So anyway, every shipment that came in was perfect and pretty much always has been perfect. coming in. So I generally don't worry too much about shipments coming in to me because the manufacturers are pretty good at checking stuff. So anyway, I start making money again and business is booming. I then pick up another girl from the Australian Institute of Sport. She's a recurve archer in the Australian Olympic team, Geordie. And so there's 3 people working in my shop plus me. And still in this little shop, but now the shop's booming, sales are booming, and I've outgrown this little shop. So I'm like, I need a bigger warehouse. And the 2 guys are like, well, we'll help you build it. We'll do this. I don't really want to do this because I want to go back to being in public service. I'm a director in public service. I like being director in public service. Okay. So I'm like, do you really want to, like, can we just stay small? And they're like, no. So I take out a lease on this big warehouse in Fishwood. And it's $1,000 a week rent for this warehouse in Fishwood. So it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to fit out a shop. Like massive amounts of work. I don't have a lot of time because I'm running a business. So fitting out a shop to me is an absolute nightmare. Growth is an absolute nightmare. So anyway, we fit it out, build it, and sales boom. And I'm doing TV commercials at this stage as well. So when the Australian Grand Prix is on, I'm running archery commercials on TV. So there'd be Bowtech bows being shot during the Australian Grand Prix. At this stage, my sales hit 3 million a year, and that's pretty much where they've topped out. I actually picked up the girl in the news agency, so this little news agency where I used to go and do my post office. I used to go and post my parcels. She's working there. I go, how much do you get paid to work? She goes, $5 an hour, which is the Australian award wage at the time was about $20 an hour. And she's getting 5 because the people she worked for, that's the way they do it. So I said, would you like a job? Because she was really friendly, and I just thought she's not an archer and get her in the shop. So I employed her in the shop. So I eventually got those 2 guys eventually left me about 2 years later. I think the whole staff for about 2 years. Then I have other people come in and work for me. I'm not going to go through all those, but basically it was all good. So I've had various people work for me during the time. Kids, adults, archers, and it was all good. My sales boomed at about 3 million. Bowtech was selling really well, and PC was selling really well. Now Bowtech had some issues. If you don't know what those issues were, they had a boat called the Guardian. I think it was called the Guardian, where the wings, you know what I mean, popped and people were getting hurt. So I sold 3 of the new bows and people got hurt. So I ring Bowtech and I go, look, I've got a problem. You know, these bows are hurting people. Like they cut the watch off the guy and dinged him in the face. And so I'm happy to get. Bowtech go, you're the only person in the world who's had a problem. I'm it. I'm the only person in the world having a problem with Bowtech limbs breaking and bows blowing up on people. Like, really? So anyway, Bowtech cut me as a distributor. A guy from Northern Territory came to Bowtech and said, we'll sell 2,000 Bowtechs a year if you give us the exclusive. Bowtech gave me exclusive. I think he probably maxed out at 50 bows a year. And Bowtech had a recall on all those bows that actually broke on me. So when I go back to PSE and I say I've got a problem, they are honest with me, and I appreciate honesty. And I know there's issues with honesty and legal liability and all that sort of stuff. If there's a problem, it's best to say, look, probably best not to sell that until it's more established, that product. That's all I need to know, because if there's a problem with the product, don't sell it. Simple. Anyway, so I lost Bowtech. I signed 700 Bowtechs a year, lost that. Now, that was a pain, that was a wretch for me. And you think, Jesus, like business is cut in half. I'm going to cut my sales and, my staff. I've got this big warehouse. I've got 5 staff on. I had 1 staff working full time of repairing Bowtech bows. And you think that's going to be half your business. You think sales are going to halve when Bowtech goes. Well, they didn't. PSE doubled overnight. So I had PSE and Botech, both equal in sales numbers. I don't know what I signed, probably 700,000 each a year, roughly. I think that's about a rough number. All my competitors now know what I sell from each company. Like at the end of the day, I'm pretty open with this stuff. And if someone's going to come along and go, look, we're going to try and fix their market, or all power to them. I don't make a lot of money. If you want to invest lots of money and not make much money, go for it, I figure. So, anyway, PSE doubled overnight for me. Because I lost Botech, all the people who were buying Botech started buying PSE. And PSE just took off. It was just amazing for me. It was, I think, Jesus, this is the end of my business, and suddenly PSE goes, woof. That was amazing. It's just, I've never seen anything like it. And it was really good. And it's just about having energy and putting it in. And yeah, so PSE went really well. Now, the problem with Fish Week was, this is where my warehouse was, I'd get broken into every month. So I was getting broken into constantly. Then I'm going to tell you this other story. I hate telling these bad stories, but that guy, the carpet guy who came in to lay carpet, he comes into my store. This is like 5 years later. He goes, I bought a boat from you guys and I had a really bad experience. I said, what was that? He said, well, you rang me up and told me. I said, it wasn't against you. I just had this issue. This guy comes in again, this carpet layer. He goes, I want to buy a boat. So I tell him my stuff. And I go, look, this is the guy. This is the guy which caused me to fire and stuff. So he buys $1,000 boat for $1,000. And guess what? Same thing occurred. So I looked at the invoice because it's the same guy. So I was like, I'm going to go and check this invoice for this one guy. So I go and check this invoice for this guy, and the same thing occurred. So I sit my staff down and go, look, you know what happened. I've got the cameras, because I've got video surveillance cameras on. I took the till with cash in it, took it out the way of the cameras, and then put the money back in the till. So I put the till back in the thing and balance for the day. It was just minus $500 because the invoice for the $1,000 boat was reduced to $500. So I said, look, you both know what happened, so someone's going to be fired. So I don't care what it was. At that stage, I had other problems. As well with other staff members as far as theft is concerned, which I caught on video. They were kids and that killed me. They were local archers who worked for me on Saturday morning, and that just ripped my heart out. So I had problems with my permits, I had problems with my kids. They were working, and I was like, I just can't do this anymore. I'm over it. I'm over the theft. I'm over just not trusting people. I'm over the break-ins. I just don't need this. Like, I'm not making, even though I'm selling $3 million a year, I'm not making much money. And I was like, frick this, I'm closing the whole thing down. So I was like, that's it. I'm just going to go back. I'm going to go back to my garage. I'm just going to wholesale. All right, I'm going to stop the retail because my business was too big to be back in this garage, and it was too big for me to work. So I said, I'm going to close retail down. I'm just going to wholesale. So I laid off everyone except for the girl because the girl didn't steal. Now there was a young boy who worked Saturday who didn't steal. There was a girl who was working on Saturday who wasn't working that day. She didn't steal. So there's plenty of people who don't steal from me. So never get the impression that everyone stole from me. It's not the case. It's in my lifetime I've caught 5 people stealing. So I don't know if that's good or bad. I hate stealing. It just shits me off. You don't learn anything from it. It's just a terrible thing not to trust people. If you ever think about stealing, don't. Anyway, I go back to my garage and I just go wholesale, which you think's okay, right? Because actually my wholesale picks up. So I contact my suppliers and I go, look, I'm just going to go wholesale and see how it goes. Now, there's a precedent for this. JPD in Europe cut their retail store and just went wholesale, and they boomed. And JPD is doing a really good, huge sales now, just wholesaling to shops. Now, my wholesale, when I first did this, actually picked up. But then what happened was in Australia, those shops who were buying from me went, well, we don't have any competition now. We'll just go direct to the manufacturers and buy. And then suddenly my wholesale starts dropping. I'm like, Jesus, what's going on here? So my shops are actually growing. The people I'm supplying are growing. And then as they grow, because I'm not in the market anymore, they then go to my suppliers and start buying direct. So then I start shrinking even further. I'm like, well, that's not going to work. So that's not going to work. So then I set up internet again. I never opened retail at that point again. I did internet, so I started establishing internet again, and I worked hard, and I started building up capital again and building back a cash reserve. So that's been my whole thing. Now there's another part where I moved to Adelaide, and I set up this big retail store, which we're going to go into in another video because I think it's probably enough. I'll answer a few questions on that, but that's just part of my thing. So part of the thing in business, you've got to have a plan, go for it, work hard, and never be consumed about total sales. Be consumed about how much money you're actually making, because it's all well to sell $3 million a year, but if you're making nothing, I can tell you how much money I make. The most I've ever made in my business has been $25,000 a year. That's my total profit ever. Now I kind of pretty much average $25,000 a year. So I made the most when I was in my garage by myself when I had a retail shop at the very start. So that was at the start, part one. That's when I made the most money because I had no overheads at all. If I sold a bow and I made $100 on a bow, that was $100 profit. That's when I made my most money. As soon as you've got to start paying $1,000 to a staff member, that means it's 10 bows you've got to sell to cover that one staff member. Where if you sell 10 bows yourself, $1,000 profit. So that's when I made my most money. As soon as you start running into expenses like shop rent, insurance, my insurance was $50,000 a year. And if you've got car payments to make, I don't have any car payments anymore. So I run no car payments at all. I have no power bills at the moment because I've got a massive solar system on my roof. I'm all about now minimizing the costs of my business. So basically I make myself as competitive as possible. So right now what I'm doing, and I'm going down part 3, right now it's all about minimizing my cost and making myself as cost effective as possible. So basically if someone wants coming against me, it's like you go for it because my costs are as low as possible. So my shop is as cheap as possible, my power is virtually nothing. I have no car payments, I have no interest payments, I have no loans. It's all about reduction of that, and that's kind of what I do. I'll answer some questions if you've got any. Let's see what I've got here. Hi from Cleveland. Hi Cleveland. Scotland. I can't find the Instant Riser in Europe. And other bows from Composite. Top point here. It's just up to shops. Now, a lot of shops, especially in America, I know you're in Europe, a lot of shops concentrate on whoever they buy from. So in Europe, I think you'd probably find most of the shops would be buying from JVD or whoever they buy from. As a result, they wouldn't be interested in dealing with Toe Point because they only think about their little realm. For me, I'm always like out there and I'm active, and I'm like, what will sell? Where do I get an edge? Now, you'll probably find I don't find much of it in America. I think if I had a shop in America, I'd be really successful, and it's part of the reason why I'm here in America right now. I'm just looking at stuff. So if you can't buy them, you can buy them over the internet. I think we sell them for $250, and then you get 10% off because we got GST, so that's $25 off, and then it's whatever the freight is into Europe. But I mean, otherwise, you just contact your local shop and say, geez, you should look at this. I sell a whole heap of units and risers. But a lot of shops are not interested. They do life easy. When I started my business in Canberra, the shop in Canberra sold, just a rough number, $250,000 a year. Like I said, I sold $750 pretty much in the first couple of years. So I sold 3 times what he sold, and I was in my garage. And he was a full-time shop. And then when I set up a full-time shop, I was selling 3 million and he was only selling 250. So I never get worried about the size of the market. It's about building a business and growing a business. Serving customers well, having good products at a good price. And a lot of shops just are not, in my opinion, are not very active and not very, they don't put lots of energy in, they don't put lots of, they're lazy. Is that fair? It's just a job. They enjoy it. They enjoy the communication with customers, and yeah, so that's just what I find. So, but I'd just go and ask a shop and say, you should have a look at this company. It's a good little company to deal with. So, but you know, if you want to set up a business, man, like I'm here in Kentucky, and I'm like, I cannot see. It blows my brain that people are not setting up businesses here. Like it blows me apart. I'm like, so much opportunity, costs are so low. Like you can set up a business in your garage, no cost, start selling stuff and be successful and make decent money. I mean, I'm at a restaurant last night and the girl's earning $2 an hour waiting at tables. $2. I go to a grocery store and the kid's earning, they're 18, 19-year-olds earning $7 an hour working Thanksgiving nights. Sell archery stuff in your garage, buy a shop. Here in Kentucky, the shop I looked at, 3 stories with an apartment on top, $125,000. 40 meters long. I could have a massive indoor shooting range there, a whole store full of stock, shooting range, and apartment upstairs for $125,000. It's a no-brainer. It really is. So I'm just trying to answer a few more questions and I'll leave it because my videos go. Any more news on feedback from Obsession? Bows, have I sold any Obsessions for 2019? I might have sold one. But there will be more Obsession videos. They actually take me a long time to do. They take me about 4 to 5 hours. And it's just a matter of what I've got time. And at the moment this week I'm in America. So let's see if there are any other questions. Yeah, so about Golden Eagle. Golden Eagle was hugely successful for me. They had low-end bows and they had sort of top-end bows. They had the recurved limbs. They had modules, so one bow suited anyone. Really good customer service. I'm still friends with some of my customer service people from when I was 20 years old. Jackie Allen, she's now with Barnett. She was with Golden Eagle back then. It was a really good little company. Just a shame. It kind of didn't work out for me. I bought my PC Stinger. Stinger's just an awesome bow. Any more questions? But I will do another one about me moving to Adelaide, setting up the shop here, because my shop's now much, much bigger than it ever was. Obsession Lawless. I think I've got that. I just haven't done a review. I think that's about it. So with that, I'll let you go. I hope that's been informative. And the next one I'll tell you about when I bought the warehouse here and how I've set it up and probably walk you through it and what I'm doing now and what I'm going to do in the future and where I'm actually going to go to with my business. Because I've got lots of ideas for how I'm going to improve and where I'm going to go to make life easier for customers and create the niche markets. And you can probably see where I'm going already with some of the stuff I'm doing now. What's the best target for home? I don't know what you mean by that. What's the best target? Now, the target I use at home, I'm using a piece of foam in a bag filled with plastic behind. So I'm a real cheap ass. So my last ex-girlfriend goes, "You doesn't even buy me a coffee," which is not true, but that's just been good. That's what it is. But I am very cheap. So the target I had at home when I was in Canberra was just a wooden frame covered with shade cloth, and I just stuffed it full of plastic. It lasted literally forever. I haven't made that up now. Having no employees versus 5 employees. No employees, no worries. 5 employees, just too much worries. Well, it is true, but it's not true. So right now I'm in America, and I had a terrible day. So my first day arriving here in the States, my bags were missing, and I had a GPS system in my bag that was missing, so I couldn't actually get here because I didn't have a GPS system. So it took me 4 hours to get here because my GPS was in the bag. There was a storm in Adelaide. The roof tiles came off my house in Adelaide, hit the guy's car, which was a BMW, in my driveway, breaking his son thing. Oh God, what else was there? There was 3 things that day. Oh, I broke my car, my hire car. So I've got this hire. I've got a Dodge Charger, a Dodge Challenger V8 Hemi. So I thought, I'm in America, I'll get this big V8. And I go across a railway line, and the bitumen, I turn right, and the bitumen ran out. So I get my Hemi, this V8, is stuck on the train lines. I can't move forward and I can't move back. And all I can picture is this train coming, just smashing this brand new car. And I can't move the car anyway. So I turn the steering wheel really hard, and I kind of rock the car backwards and forwards, and I ripped the front end off the car. So that was my first day in America. So I'm like, okay, so the roof off my house, lost my bags, broke the car, and it's been better since then. So that I'm going to say my employees since I've been here have done really well. They actually had a really good day of sales when I was away, so that was really good. And employees allow you to have time off. So if you need family, if you've got family stuff going on, or you want to do something privately, it's good to have that. I think with employees, it's really good to have. When I say it's really good to have good employees, like if you got employees who want to be there, they learn and they enjoy it. There's often a lot of pressure from customers on employees because they don't know what you know. So there's a whole learning process here because it takes time to get up to speed with a huge range of products. And generally, customers know more than employees because they've done the research on new products. Employees have just got so much product information, and a customer will have just one product they've done research on, and they come to an employee and go, do you know about this? And it's like, because I've got thousands of products. So it's really hard for employees, and it puts pressure on them. I don't feel it so much because I've been doing this forever. So I've got a bit of a carefree attitude, which is maybe not good, but that's the way it is. You just can't stress about stuff. You have people going, my parcel hasn't arrived in 5 days. It's your fault. You've got to give me my money back. I'm like, whatever, shop elsewhere. When my employees probably take that on, they stress, and I'm not into having stress. I don't need stress and anxiety in my life. I don't get paid enough, and they don't get paid enough to crop crap. They don't earn hundreds of thousands of dollars, and when I did earn decent money, and I got offered a general manager position in a private company, the amount of pressure in the archery shop far exceeds what I had as a general manager type position. It's far, far more. And it's all about nothing. So it's like, my parcel hasn't arrived today. What are you doing? You've got to give me my money back for postage. We're talking about $3 or $4. And it's like, it's not my problem. It's the Australia Post system. You will get it. You've got tracking. You just got to wait. And you live in a country area. So these things happen. And when you send out we send out about 60 parcels a day. So you're going to have one or two a day, which are probably going to be a little bit delayed. So for me, I don't really worry about that stuff. So yeah, employees are critical though. If you've got good employees, if I have good employees, I don't even need to be at work. And if I don't have to be at work, I can build on my business, and I can come up with new ideas and new things I want to do, which I'll cover in another video, and it allows me to grow my business even further and employ more people. Like, I want to set up another business in that way. I've got another store which is empty, and that store will be successful. I just need employees to be able to run that. So yes, I do make more money probably by myself in my garage, but if I can have another store running itself and the employees running it, and they're happy to be there, and they're good and honest, it works for them, they're happy to be there. And I'm going to say my staff right now are happy to be at work. They really are. They're happy to be there. And they probably come to work for nothing, I think. And I don't pay them, but they are pretty happy just to come to work. They like the environment. They like talking to customers. And I remember one of my staff says he feels safe at work. It's his safe zone. So for him, he gets to talk to archers. He's an archer, and he just feels comfortable in that environment. And he suffers from stress from being in the military. But he really finds it comfortable being at work. I mean, he still stresses out when he makes stuff ups and stuff, but he likes being there. I mean, he would stay there all night long if I let him. I do think about putting a caravan there so I can stay there all night. What I'm up to in Kentucky, I'm just looking at archery stuff here. There's a building down Main Street I looked at yesterday, which was 125,000, three-story building. So yeah, just looking at that, looking at some houses and some property. I'm going to look at some property for some days, some real property, and just see what's going on. It's just basically a holiday. So when it's a holiday, I always look at stuff, and I know it's just good. I had Thanksgiving here with family. It's good. How much compromise do one afford compared to tuning? Tuning versus shooting. I don't tune much. So one of my friends up in Port Pirie, he's like, "Oh, you're tuning which way the arrows spin." He sends me this message. He goes, "I've watched this video about which way the arrow naturally spins out the bow." And I said, "Well, if it works for you, tell me and I'll do it myself." For me, if I aim in the center and I do a good shot, the arrow goes in the center. The problem is I don't shoot. I don't shoot enough to be a world-class archer. I don't practice enough. I don't shoot enough. If I release a good shot, it goes in the middle, and I have shot decent scores. But at the moment, I'm not shooting enough. I was shooting 4 to 6 hours a day, and my scores were getting really good. But I haven't been shooting much. I've been working a whole heap lately. So, here's whiskey. Man. I love the new Prime. Did you have a look at the Prime base? No, the problem I've had with Prime, so I have two problems with Prime archery. They produce a really good quality bow, no question about quality bow. The finish is perfect, so I have two problems with Prime. One was the modules. I couldn't get adjustment on the modules, and I had trouble selling them. They produce such a nice quality bow. Like I've got some of their old models with the twin cams. I'm going to get the names wrong, but the centuries and that sort of stuff. I've got them out for $1,000, which is below cost, and I cannot move them because they're drawing specific. So a person comes in, let's say it's a 28-inch bow, and the person's 28.5, I can't sell it. So people don't even pull it off the shelf for people to try it because, I just find it such a hard bow to sell. Like it's a good bow, but it's just so hard to sell. Now my second problem with Prime is getting into Australia. So with PSE, I get really cheap rates of getting freight in. So with PSE, I freight bows into Australia for about $40 a bow, maybe $50 a bow. By the container, when I bring them in by container, I'm freighting for about $10 a bow. Prime is just crazy. I think I'm $200 a bow, and it just puts me out of the market. So I haven't got really good freight rates with Prime. Obsession's about $100 a bow. But they're a nice bow. Like if you're in America, they probably work. But for me in Australia, I just can't get it to work. I believe the key to being creative is original thought process, which is impossible in a dysfunctional environment or workplace. Yes. When you're busy, it's like you don't have time. Limb stops or cable stops, which I prefer. Probably limb stops because it's more solid, but the new PSEs have got cable stops, and I find those really solid. I mean, your best bet's to go and shoot a bow and see which way you shoot. I'm shooting super focus at the moment because I'm finding I can put a whole bunch of weight on the front of the bow, and it makes me stable. When I put the same amount of weight on the form, which I really like, and I think bows are pretty bow that PSE perform, the bow weighs too much and I fatigue out way too quick. So my first 20 arrows are amazing. They're just I can't hold the bow because I just fatigue out. For what reason I'm buying feeding what fractions? I think that's about it. I hope that's answered most questions, and I'll do some more, and I'll get back to Australia this week, and I'll do some more reviews then. So thanks for watching. Gone for ages. So anyway, I'm going to go check out Kentucky a little bit more and check out the environment, check out some rural properties. Because there's no, like in Kentucky, you don't have any archery ranges. You don't have any archery clubs. What's the deal with that? You've got all this great hunting, and you don't have an archery club. You've got this. I wish I could show you the outside out here. It's just amazing. I tried to take the computer out there and film outdoors, but it is breathtaking. The trees, the environments, the cutouts, the mountains, the wildlife here. It is staggering. Just beautiful. If ever you can take a holiday and go and check out parts of the world, this part of the world is just staggering. The water, it's just amazing. The people are really nice, very southern, homely, polite people. Roads are great. I get lost continuously because the roads go around in circles and all around the place. I've got no idea where I'm going here. It's not a grid like Adelaide where everything's in straight lines. It's all in circles here. It's winding through the hills and a beautiful spot. Just amazing. So anyway, with that, yeah, no archery clubs. And it's like this is the home of archery and you don't have any archery clubs in Kentucky. Like, seriously. There's got to be land here at council. I don't understand why people haven't gone and said, come and set up an archery club. There might be a reason for it, but I don't know what it is. There's got to be. Adelaide has a whole bunch of archery clubs. And Canberra, a population of 300,000, has four target clubs. Population of 300,000. Yeah. I mean, I'd love to come down and see an archery club down here, but there was none. So, anyway, thanks for watching. Has been helpful. Thanks. Bye.